Hello and salam. Welcome to Muslim Viewpoint, a new podcast series powered by American Muslim Today. We're a groundbreaking non-profit digital newspaper which champions civic engagement. AMT informs and empowers the diverse voices of almost 30 million Muslims here in the US and other Western countries. I'm Rifat Malik. I'm AMT's editor-in-chief, and this month we're putting a spotlight on those individuals who are running for local office in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex and who hope to represent minority community concerns. Today we have an interview with Simon Salinas, who's one of the youngest running candidates for Plano ISD School Board. Salinas is hoping his experience as a student will help him connect with the needs of young people to ensure their academic excellence. He spoke to our producer, Maya.
Yeah, so I'm personally motivated by the story of my grandparents. They recently passed away a couple of years ago because of COVID. And so it was during that time, when students were having to wear a mask and then take off their mask, and all these decisions were being made for us and the teachers, that I started to ask, who makes these decisions for us? Is it some, secret council? But then I realized that it was just a community. It was the community who elected our school board members. So my grandparents' story is that they understood the importance of education. My grandfather, he came to this country from Monterrey, Mexico, and he came here because of the opportunities. And his father told him that before he would move, or before he moved to the United States, he would have to have a college degree in something. And so my grandpa, he loved to learn, and so this was easy for him. And he decided to get a degree in mathematics. And I bet you know that math is pretty hard. And so then he came to the United States and he decided to work as a handyman for apartments. And that was his chosen career. My grandma, she lost her mom when she was 12, and then she started a family at 15. So obtaining her degree was never easy either. And my grandma worked, my grandma worked during the day and she took night classes over the weekends to obtain her bachelor's degree when she was older. And I'm very proud of the role education played in their lives. Those stories constantly repeat in my mind as I am passionate about making sure that there are opportunities for other students to have and to expand their knowledge. We need to have transferable skills in each course so that students feel, like they can choose another path and still have those skills, be transferable. And I always like this. I just heard this the other day, but the revelations from the holy prophet started with Allah saying, "Ikra, read, and to seek knowledge." And I think that really defines education.
Yeah, that's very nice. Kind of perfect leading right into my next question. So, as you know, American Muslim Today, we're focused more on the narrative of the Muslim community. So if you could just tell me, how your faith has helped guide you in this journey.
Yeah, so I had my shahada last year at a college, and having that shahada at a place of learning meant so much to me. Surrounded by brothers and sisters and just teachers, even. It was really beautiful, alhamdulillah. And one of the pillars of my faith is service to others. In Islam, serving people is better than serving God. And so to me, serving on the school board is how I serve others. And it's actually a way I practice my faith to serve on a school board, to serve my community. During this holy month, I'm reminded of the struggles that my community has, and that makes me more conscious of them. I can pick up a book and I can go to college just like, I can eat at the end of the day. But some students, they don't have that option, and I'm aware of that.
Right. So why choose a school board position over a city council position?
Right, yeah. Well, like I was saying, education is important in my life and it's my focus. I have experience from both sides of the classroom. I was a student last year and now I'm a substitute teacher. So I have both experience and I listen to my teachers, of course, while I was in their classrooms. And I want to bring that to the school board. I've paid attention to the district and the current needs of the district, and I know many of the students and staff in the district. So that choice was um, an easy one for me.
Yeah, so specifically, what are the issues you're mostly concerned about and why?
So I'm most concerned about representation on the dais for my community that's not there. When I was a student and during COVID, I didn't see anybody that looked like me on the school board. So that made it hard for me to reach out to the school board to let them know about my opinions, my ideas. I think different perspectives are important. We need a youth representation, but we also need older people to be in the mix too, so that they can give their perspective. One of the founding principles of this democracy in this amazing country is equal and fair representation. The Muslim community, Latino community, and young people, we're not represented on the school board. And we make up a large portion of our district. 70% of Plano ISD students are diverse. And yet we don't have anybody on our school board that look like us. Inshallah, I'll be elected to the board and bring that representation. We'll see.
Right. And so, can you talk more about the specific challenges that you have faced being a young person running for this position?
Yeah. Um, of course, there's concerns about the budget. People feel like I don't have budget experience or anything like that. However, I am thankful that Plano ISD has a CFO, and so they do the majority of the work for the budget. It's not solely just some random person on the school board, and that isn't just to one person. There is a lot of talk about, just like the diversity that I'm bringing, and there's backlash about that being a sole impact of or a sole factor of my campaign, and also about my youth. But I feel like the youth perspective is very important, and in a way, it brings you closer to the students to understand their needs.
So specifically, if and when you are elected, what changes are you hoping to implement the most?
Yeah, so um, I realize that teachers and students deserve better mental health care. My classmates, my teachers, after COVID, they've just been suffering. Student scores for specifically diverse students need to be increased in third grade reading and math, because that's the cutoff where that it makes the most impact to raise those scores by third grade. I also know that the communities need to be connected within one another, and because of my diversity, I can bring these communities together. And also, our budget needs to be equally distributed across each group of students. Unfortunately, when I was a student and now that I'm a substitute teacher, I'm not seeing that. And so I'd like to make sure that there's fair distribution as well. I have plans to work with my colleagues on the board because I would only be one vote. So I'd work with them to make sure that these issues are addressed. I think it's really difficult for students and staff to contact school board members, like I was saying, especially those that rarely see their school board member. I've been told by staff and students that they're worried about what repercussions they might have if they have a different opinion or viewpoint as opposed to the school board member. And I want to create that trust in the community again. I don't think that teachers should be afraid to speak their mind. Um, I also want to make it easier for students to speak to someone their age, and teachers to talk to someone who has been in the same classrooms that they're teaching in. I think diverse young people um, believe that someone on a board could never look like us, until they do. And that's a legacy that I want to leave for future generations that go beyond my time.
So, what would you say to young people like you who are motivated and want to see a change and make a difference in their community? How would you encourage them?
Yeah. I would say just to get involved, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and sign up for any organization that you feel passionate about. And I I think passion speaks a lot when you're running, you were bored one day and decided to do it. But when you put in the passion, you put in the hard work, it really matters and people can see that.
Our next guest, Arefin Shamsul, has served the city of Richardson as a council member since 2021 and is running again this year unopposed. Shamsul, who also served on the Richardson Zoning Board of Adjustment and the Building and Standards Commission for almost 10 years, tells us why he wants a second term.
City council, it's about serving the people. So these are really, there are the typical city-related items that I voted to. Example, that I voted to cut the tax rate twice, which has helped ease the rise in the cost of living for residents. And also, as a civil engineer, an important priority for me was to put more money into our infrastructure. You know that Richardson is the old city, so there is a need to rebuild and repair, rehab our roadway, sidewalk, water line, sewer line. So that was so important. And also, one interesting thing happened in 2021 is that, that Richardson has been a welcoming place, but that has accelerated after I got elected. So we have added cultural activities, events in downtown Richardson. And one of my proudest moment on the council was when we welcomed the Afghan refugees in 2021. Many of these families were arriving with next to nothing. So we were able to partner with the local organization to ensure they had clothing, food, and shelter. So these are the basic essentials, of course, but they were desperately needed. So I was really happy to see the community stepping up to welcome them to Richardson and ensure they saw the love of our city firsthand. So we are really changing.
Yeah, and then so why is it so important for you to serve your Richardson community as a council member?
Well, that's interesting. Yes, of course. I often tell people that the service is about people. And I just mentioned a few minutes ago, and I truly believe that. So this job is about working to improve the lives of people across the city, ensuring, they are heard and recognized, and their quality of life is the best. We have a diverse population in Richardson and various income levels. So making it so important to show up and connect with people across the city. So when I do that, I'm constantly reminded of why this is such a fantastic opportunity to give back to the community.
Right. And so American Muslim Today, we are obviously, we want to showcase the Muslim narrative across all of our stories. So can you tell me how exactly your faith guides you in this journey?
Well, you know that, I'm a Muslim, of course, and practicing Muslim. I served on, various Muslim organizations. Recently, I served on AMT as the president for the last over 5 years. So, and in my faith, or in our faith, we believe that serving the community is a way of believing, okay. We believe that serving the community is a way of being blessed by God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So serving is about listening to others, finding out what we can do to help them, and seeking out positive outcomes for everyone.
So specifically, what issues are you concerned about and why within the Richardson community?
Well, we have few issues. One is, of course, city is old city. So repairing the infrastructure is becoming a challenge. And my expertise really in my life, that which pays my bill, is engineering consulting. So I have a consulting firm. I started over 20 years ago. So I do mainly municipal infrastructure, the street, sidewalk, water line, sewer line, drainage, making sure that those get repaired on time and within the most efficient way. So that's one of the reasons that I really wanted to run for the city council. But besides that, there is one thing I found after I got elected is that Spring Valley projects, that's in the north, that's in the southwest corner of Richardson. And that has been at a standstill for many years, and residents deserve promises from city leaders to be kept. So I want to find ways to connect both sides of the city, which is Dallas and also Richardson, through our businesses and community programs. So I want to make sure that, at least we start that redevelopment in that area.
So as someone who has been serving as a council member, how would you suggest your community gets involved in helping you make these changes?
Okay, that's I think that's something really important. We think about it, but sometimes we really don't look for the answer. That's a good question. First important thing is like we need to go and vote. That's the first thing. And because if you don't vote, what I realized that you don't get counted. You really don't exist on a political leaders list. So you have to go out and vote. And people who are listening, I'm sure they go out and vote. But the problem is with others. They are not in the room and they are not active and they don't vote. So voting is so important. And the second thing is get involved and volunteer everywhere, not just within the community level, beyond the community level. And it might not be your comfort zone, but their comfort zone, but they will get used to. I think this is the best way to connect with each other. It's not that we will achieve everything, within 2 years or 2 years. It's a generation. So, it's important that everyone gets involved, including the next generation, and they need to be prepared. So, as you know that, when I ran 2 years ago, that I served on the city zoning board over 10 years and the city's building commission over 10 years. And I have done many other things. I was very involved in Richardson. And so it was really very natural for me to get, involved for, like to the next level, serving the city as a council member when I saw that door open. So it was, it's important that, that giving back to the community is important. We can be safe ourselves if we don't make our neighbor safe. So, and we cannot smile if we don't see our neighbor smile. So we all have to be together for everything. So it's about people. And I could have lots of expertise, many other things, but the thing is, bottom line is about people. That's what I said, that serving people is strictly about serving people, nothing more than that. Thank you. By the way, this time I'm running unopposed. So I had two other, person ran for this place 6, but this time I'm totally running unopposed. So, but still, I'm humbly asking and requesting your vote.
Right.
Whoever listening in Richardson. So please go out and vote. Thank you.
Well, thanks so much for joining us this week. From me and Maya, goodbye. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at American Muslim Today. If you'd like to read more about this story and access more digital content, feel free to check out our website, AmericanMuslimToday.com. We'll see you next week on The Muslim Viewpoint.